I ended the last video with this question. If you stand in a room void of any objects, bounded only by 4 walls and a roof, then will you hear an echo? Due to the absence of any objects in the room, most of the sound that we make reaches the walls and gets reflected from their surfaces. Here we assume that the walls are not covered with any sound-absorbent material. These walls, however, do absorb some of the sound, but most of the sound is reflected back in the room. We have studied the conditions that are required for hearing an echo. One of them is as follows. If the temperature of the surrounding is around 22 degrees Celsius, then the minimum distance between us and the point of reflection should be at least 17.2 meters for us to hear an echo. This is because to hear the repetition of sound, the time interval between the incident and the reflected sound to reach us must be at least 0.1 seconds. However, this minimum distance condition is not exactly accurate in this case. The minimum distance condition is valid only in the surroundings where there is only one big wall or a mountain facing us from where the sound is getting reflected. The rest of the space is open. However, here we are surrounded by the 4 huge walls as well as the roof. So does that mean we will not hear an echo in this room? We will hear an echo in some cases. Here, even if we are at a distance less than 17.2 meters from any wall, there is still a chance of hearing an echo. Why? This is because of the multiple reflections of a sound wave. If we make a sound in a closed room, it may get reflected multiple times from the walls and then reach us. If the time interval between the incident and this multiple reflected sound is at least 0.1 seconds, then we will hear an echo. But in reality, not just one, but many sound waves are coming from the source. They all strike these walls at different angles and get reflected in random directions. Some may get reflected multiple times, while others may be reflected only once or twice. Now there will always be a sound wave that reaches us in less than 0.1 seconds. In such cases, we don't hear an echo, but we hear a sound something like this. How would you describe this sound? This is an echoish like sound, but is still not an echo. There are no distinct repetitions of the original sound. This sound that we hear is called the reverberation. It gives us the sensation of one prolonged sound. As I said, there are no distinct repetitions of the same sound. This occurs because the time difference between the 2 continuous sound waves that reach us is less than 0.1 seconds. So if there are like a million sound waves coming towards us, then the time difference between any 2 waves reaching us in continuous succession will be less than 0.1 seconds. So all the waves combine and give us the sensation of one prolonged sound. Reverberation is common in auditoriums and large halls, and it's quite annoying for the listeners sitting in the hall. How do we tackle this problem? Well, one way is by covering the walls and the roof of the hall with sound-absorbent material. Usually, these materials are soft and pliable like clothes. They absorb most of the sound and very less gets reflected.